What up,
Yo,
Nick?
what up? What up?
What's up, boys?
What's happening,
What
my
up,
man? How are you
man?
doing?
Pretty good. Just hanging out, having a drink, enjoying myself,
That's what's
obviously.
that's what's up. What are you sipping on?
Um, Sipping on some High West
Oh, some High
bourbon.
West. There you go.
Yeah.
Salute, brother.
Salute.
Hope you're doing well.
You too.
Tonight I'm sipping on a little bit of rye tonight. Let me see if I can get that focus. There we go. Some Redwood
That's
Empire.
better.
This stuff's pretty damn good. Nah, that High West is awesome as well.
Oh, I know.
What's
They got one here
happening?
in Salt Lake, so it's easy to find.
Hell yeah, man. Well, welcome on, man. I'm really excited to have you on here today. For you guys that don't know, Salty Dalty's Barbecue. His name is Brian. He absolutely crushes and kills it. Incredibly creative with the dishes he puts together. And, whether you want to barbecue or, cook some food in the kitchen, he's got something for all of you guys. But welcome, my brother. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Yeah, just worked, hung out with the kids for a couple hours and put them down, and now I'm able to enjoy this a bit and chat it up with you guys tonight. So I'm pretty
There you
excited.
go. That's what's up, man. Well, let's just go ahead and jump right into it,
Sweet.
man. I briefly mentioned you make a little bit of everything, man. Tell me some of the inspiration that you pull to come up with those real creative ideas. I mean, for example, you just did the funnel cake pork belly. Come on.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's
Do you
wild,
have
dude.
some favorites?
Um, Honestly, I do a little bit of everything, anywhere from the kitchen to barbecue stuff, simple recipes, crazy recipes, or like intricate stuff too. I guess I get my inspiration and my creativity just from being a little quirky and odd myself. I'm pretty eccentric guy, and yeah, I just kind of put weird things together sometimes. So I'll go to the store, find one thing I want, and not really sure what recipe I'm gonna do. And I did a s'mores bomb thing recently. I was walking out, I already bought my groceries, and I'm like, s'mores making. What am I gonna do with s'mores? I got pizza dough. I'm like, I'm gonna make something, right? So it just happens. So pretty
That's
creative. I try to be at least.
hell yeah, man. Well, not only does are they creative pieces, right? Sometimes people make some of that like shock value content, but your stuff, it's always delicious, right? It's you're not really making anything real funky. You just make things that are kind of outside the box a little bit, you know what I mean? But I know I'd eat all of it. I'm sure you do too, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely do. Like with that pork belly stuff. I saw the accordion style cut, right? What a lot of people do on stuff, and I'm just like, oh, that's cool. I've never even tried that. And I saw like some carnival funnel cake, and for some reason it just brought me back to the way it looked, like the
Mhm.
cross sections and stuff, and I was just like, I'm gonna try that. That'll work, I think. I think I can make it look like that, right? So it just comes to me sometimes, and
For
sometimes
sure.
it
How did it taste?
works, sometimes it's a crash and burn.
How did it taste?
Um, it was good. I wouldn't have done powdered sugar again, for
Okay.
sure. But it was just like a deep fried candied bacon almost, and I had like a bourbon caramel sauce. So it was just like candied sweet bacon, fatty, but the crunch and stuff. It would have been great as like a topping, but just by
Mhm.
itself, it's kind of a lot, but
Yeah,
it was good.
it's got to be really rich, right? Now,
Oh,
obviously, all the fat from that pork, but also with all those toppings on top, that had to be super rich, you know?
yeah, sugar, cinnamon, caramel.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little overboard, but
First time you
it's
needed
good.
the glass of milk with some pork belly, huh?
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Well, so where did you get into cooking from, right? Was this like from your family? Is it just to feed your own family? Where'd you learn how to cook?
Yeah, so I started cooking really young. Uh, my my parents got divorced when I was like a young age, and my mom uh, just wasn't very good at cooking. And my dad, he always really tried, right? He was a foodie too, so he was always trying to put forth the effort and make us some good stuff. And oftentimes it was like Hamburger Helper and stuff. But everyone knows who ate Hamburger Helper. That shit was
It's
bomb,
basic.
and there's no complaints with Hamburger Helper growing up in the 90s. But yeah, so I cooked a lot when I was around my mom just because I was making my own stuff, and but she cooked a lot for us. She just struggled with it, and my dad was always trying to put stuff together. He got into grilling when I was in high school,
Mm.
and we lived at a house. It was like a split level house, kitchen upstairs, kitchen
Oh
downstairs,
wow.
and he would grill steaks all the time, and they ended up being better than the local Applebee's or cheap steakhouse. So we had a lot of steak and stuff, and I really started appreciating grilling from that point. And with a kitchen downstairs and have my own space, I got old enough and good enough where my dad trusted us and would just give us like an allowance and say, hey, go get your groceries. You guys can drive
Wow.
yourself, take care of yourself for the week. And I just started cooking and through college and everything, feeding my buddies and my boys. It just continued taking off, and I got a lot from it. So
That's awesome, man. And then
yeah.
obviously you've got the killer content to go alongside of that. Did you start creating content with the food stuff, or were you doing something beforehand where you kind of got behind the camera and started, having some fun with it?
Um, yeah, I haven't had any experience really with cameras at all, and with content, it all started with food, and just being a big foodie, really loving grilling and cooking, getting so much out of it. If I wasn't around people providing for them and they're really appreciating what I'm cooking, it
Hmm.
was really for me, right? So it was a way for me to share something I was real passionate about. Even though the kids wanted dino nuggets and and like mac and cheese, I could go make like a brisket or barbecue some ribs or something, and share it with somebody and get that, that gratification and stuff. But whether I was having a party or a get together, what have you, I just got a lot out of it. So I started content about 3 years ago,
Hmm.
and definitely wasn't pretty starting off. You could scroll back a couple of years. I'm telling you, you you get better by failure, and unless you just are it's part of your craft and you have a lot of experience with cameras and that type of thing.
For sure. I mean, that's kind of the case with everything, right? Any
Mm-hmm.
kind of skill set that you're honing in on, just you got to bounce back from those failures. You'll pick up
Mm-hmm.
a lot of new skills and things like that. Speaking of which, are there other things that you're into, other hobbies and things that maybe people aren't too aware of?
Yeah, I I love to hunt.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
love. Um, Mainly deer hunting, just because the area that I hunt, where we have a cabin, it's the regulations and stuff for elk are really strict. So um, I deer hunt there every year, and it's like I'm obsessed with it. 6 months out, I'm thinking about it every day.
Really?
Like I love getting out there, like the self-reliance of it and all the failures 99.9% of the day. Um, and just picking up little wins or little bits from the day to keep you going. Just kind of pulling yourself out of the dirt. Um, I love it. I'm obsessed with it. But I only go like 1 week out of the year, but
Okay.
that's a big one. And I also played baseball my whole life, pretty much. I played through college and stuff, so that's another thing most people don't know about me. But yeah,
That's cool. What position did you play in baseball?
yes,
Guess you said?
yeah. You
Man, you're
baseball guy?
no, I'm
Okay,
not that much of a baseball guy, but I'm gonna get. I mean, you're tall as hell. I'm gonna say you're either a pitcher or a shortstop. I mean, you're definitely right there in the
I was
game.
a pitcher.
You
I wish I
were,
was a shortstop.
you were
Wasn't
a
that
pitcher.
athletic. I was a
O-
pitcher.
Okay, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
You threw some heat too, or what?
Uh,
What kind of
I,
speed were you throwing?
I tried. I've hit 94.
Oh shit!
The highest like consistent that I was like 89 to 91 probably,
Wow.
and it was depending like how I felt, how healthy I was, what I was going through and everything. But yeah, I mean, I had I had times where I was like starting and I wasn't even close to that. I was like 85 to 87. So,
Yeah.
um, but it kind of just depended on like my health and stuff like that, what was going on with me. But yeah, I was
Yeah.
decent. I played Division I baseball and
Hell yeah.
played my whole life and called it quits after a redshirt year, my freshman year, and then 4 years of college. Got my degree, got out, and onto the real world. So.
That was it. Did you ever think about trying to go play for like a AAA team or something like that and
Um,
try to make your way up to the majors?
there was like semi-pro offers and stuff like that when I was late in college. My main focus was getting my degree and stuff. I didn't do that great in high school. I wasn't focused. It wasn't until college that I really started caring about my grades and doing well.
Yeah,
Um, I feel like that it's like that for a lot of people.
very
They're like,
relatable for
oh,
me.
this sucks, and then you get in college and you actually start, going into something you're interested in and you start thriving. But um, yeah, like out of high school, I thought I was a lot better than I was, and I uh, talked with two or three different teams, like significantly, like where they came to my house, had dinner, stuff like that. So I thought I was, hot shit in high school, and was pretty lazy, and things didn't happen for me. And freshman year, bullshitted, dicked around in the summer. I'm like, oh, I'm a hot shot. This is gonna be easy. This is gonna be great. They're like, no, you're not ready. Red shirt. And that's when I kind of turned it on and started kind of open my eyes a little bit toward, the real world,
Yeah, reality
school
set
and work
in right real quick right then,
for
didn't
sure.
it?
My dad was even like, dude, you're not coming home because I wanted to quit. He's like, you're not gonna have a spot to stay. You better figure shit out there, work in the off season and kill it next year because you're not coming back home.
That's good. That tough
But
love, man, you needed it, and
yeah,
look at how it turned out for you. You played well
played
for
ball,
those next few years,
went to
right?
college for sure. Yeah, did really well. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then back to the hunting stuff real quick. What do you use to hunt with? What do you are you just using rifles or you do bow hunting and stuff? What do you do?
uh, I've shot a boat. I've actually I wasn't born and raised into that at all, like hunting, fishing, outdoors. I was really into animals growing up. Started getting into the outdoors, fishing, things like that, and in high school. And then it was honestly, it wasn't even until like watching the hunting shows on Netflix that
Really?
I started getting into it, and I'm like, this is so awesome. The survival shows, like all even like Deadliest Catch, which isn't really survival, but just the outdoors and going through really tough situations and stuff. I started kind of getting obsessed with that, and about 4 years ago, I started hunting, getting really into it, and um, I haven't I don't have enough experience to start bow hunting, just because you kind of have to have a good lay of the land and where you're at, um, and really know what you're doing. But the last 2 years I've been successful, and um, yeah, I'm obsessed. So I'm in it. I'm in it for the long haul, and hopefully my kids or friends and family, maybe some other folks that maybe I have an influence on getting out there can join me sometime. But it's
That's
great.
awesome. You don't do it solo, right? Go out there hunting, usually go maybe like a group of boys or something?
I would. For sure.
Really?
If I had to, I had nobody going with me, I would be out there just as long hours doing the same damn thing, dude. But I do have one buddy, our moms were best friends before we were born. So we've known
Wow.
each other since birth, and yeah, we talk throughout the year and stuff like that. Rarely see each other because he lives in a different area, but we link up for about 8 to 9 days every year and go out there hunting and just shoot the shit. It's just like old times. You don't skip a beat with those long-term buddies. You just see each other day one, roll into it, and it's like you never left. So
That's all. I know all too well what you're talking about, man. And as a matter of fact, I got my best friend from childhood. He came here just 3 days ago. I get a knock on my front door. It's like 12:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, who's trying to sell me
who's
some solar or
this?
something right now? Go up to the front door, and my
Solar.
buddy, he just completely surprised me. He came out from Arkansas and showed up on my doorstep. And that's how it goes
You're
with
like,
with
what are you
old buddies, man.
doing? You're like, we got to do
Exactly,
some
dude. I
shit.
was
We got to
so
go
happy.
somewhere. We got to do something
For
fun.
Sure, and that's what we've been doing. Every like open moment, I've been spending time with him and his family. He's got my goddaughter too. Big family, 6 kids, and it's been awesome. So it's exactly what you're talking about, though. Not to sidetrack. It's but when you've got great friends like that, you don't see each other. It could be 10 years, it could be 15 years,
Yeah,
and as soon as you see each other, it's like you've been doing it all along. You've been together the whole time.
yeah,
That's
for
that's
sure.
what's up, man. That's cool. So you're obviously out in the Salt Lake area. Where's he at, and where do you guys meet up to go hunting?
So we meet up in Washington.
Nice.
Um, I'm like kind of born and raised in Washington. We moved a little bit kind of all over, but mainly Washington and Idaho. Um, but my roots are in Washington. We got a spot there. But I moved to Arizona a couple of years ago, hanging out there for 2 years with the fam, and kind of work brought me to Salt Lake. So the was it last year I was in Arizona when we linked up, so I was just flying. But now I'm about 11, 12 hours away,
Mm.
so I'm able to drive, bring all my stuff. I don't have to worry about packing everything on the airplane and everything like that. But yeah, it's in Central Washington is where we go, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
gorgeous out there. I'd like to retire out there someday if my wife would let me, but the warden, she's not up for that. She ain't living out in the sticks. She's not dealing with me hunting for a full season, that's for sure, anytime soon. So pipe dreams, but one can dream. So
For
yeah,
sure.
it's Washington. It's beautiful up there.
Maybe
So
one day. Maybe one day. You've got your family. Obviously, you got some young kids too, right? Your kids are pretty young.
yeah, I got seven. My oldest, my boy, he's seven. My daughter, she's almost five. She's five in October, and then my youngest, he's one
Oh, no way! Happy
tomorrow.
birthday, man. That's
I know,
awesome.
dude. And
That's
we
a
got
big
family
deal.
coming in town for Father's Day. I'm gonna be out there golfing. I'm gonna be barbecuing. Like this is
Oh,
gonna be the best weekend.
oh
I'm so
man, I'm
stoked,
stoked
dude.
for you, man. I'm really stoked. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Hope you guys have
for sure.
a good time out there. So your 7-year-old, is he old enough to come out hunting with you, or do you feel like you want to wait a little bit?
I definitely wait a little bit. I, I don't want to get too deep into it, but just like when you first like harvest an animal, dealing with that, even as an
Yeah,
adult, who's what I've done in my past and my like past jobs, what I've seen, stuff I dealing with that as an adult is kind of tough. Like not like emotional, but just like what did I just get myself
yeah,
into? Like I've never done it, and just to see all that stuff like as an adult, like being a kid, I think that'd be really tough unless he was really into it. So I'd love to get him out there and stuff, just learning about the outdoors, animals, wildlife, conservation, stuff like that. But he's definitely too young, in my opinion. But there's so many kids out there that they're ready, like they're into it, right? But he's not there. But I'm hoping one day him or my girl, I feel like I feel like she might be my hunting buddy, honestly. She's a little
that's
fair.
cool.
So,
That's really
yeah,
cool, actually. Yeah, it's weird how the kids are so different that way, right? You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I feel like my second child is way more adventurous than the first, right? My first
How
a
it
little
is.
more cautious, things like that. And I honestly I think it's my fault, right? As a parent, when you first have your first baby, you're just so concerned and worried about them and oh, don't fall off of that. Don't do this, don't do that. You're too worried about them. And I think that kind of they carry that with them. Whereas the second one, when the second one comes around, they're like, "Oh, the
She's
first
running
one
through walls.
survived." Yeah, exactly. This guy ain't gonna be. He's gonna
Uh,
be fine.
yeah.
So that's awesome, man. What would be your like ideal hunting trip? What would kind of lay out where it would be and what you guys would be hunting for? And
Honestly, it'd be going up to Montana to see 406 barbecue.
oh yeah, yeah,
I
get you a
wouldn't be
bear.
I wouldn't be hunting for bear just because I'm really about the protein and the meat and the harvest and like the process. Um, you know that feeling when you're preparing for a brisket. You pull this thing out, or it's thawed, or you're seasoning it, you're prepping it, you're trimming it, you're putting all this prep work into the end result. You have this long cook. Like that's how I feel about like harvesting an animal. You go through all these steps to get it to the table, and it's just long. It's just extended. It's elongated. It's just a longer process. And bear meat is like, I mean, he proved us all wrong. The bears can be bomb with that barrier, but like if it was elk or venison or something like that, if I was going deer elk hunting, that'd probably be my dream. Going up there, like a really big private property where you have a lot of untouched space and just getting after it. But I've never had an elk or I've never taken an elk or harvested an elk, but I think that'd be pretty special to be able to do that.
Awesome, man. That does sound like a good time. Well, before we get too far into this, Nick, I'm sure we maybe had a couple of questions come in. We got some of those we want to get to real quick for him.
Yes, sir. The G flavor asks, what are your top two favorite proteins to cook?
Top two for sure, beef. Um, beef's by far my favorite protein. Brisket's my favorite to cook just because of the amount of time that goes into it. If I could pick any type of cooking process, it would be like it'd be an offset smoker. Family, kids, out of town. I'm outside for 12 to 14 hours by myself, stoking that fire, putting in the time, doing the work. Beef for sure, brisket. I think that's number one. The next one's tough because there's so many pork cooks that I love. And then I recently, a couple months ago, got that Campo Grande Iberico pork, and like, I mean that shouldn't even count toward pork because it's too good. But I'd say I'd say venison after that because venison gets a bad rap, I think, and everyone prefers elk because elk's just cleaner, less gamier, better, what have you. But I feel like if you process the animal well, um, you put in all this time and attention to it, I think you can have like a really good protein that doesn't have all that nasty, awful gaminess and stuff that people say that they have all the time with venison. Because I feel like if you're having venison or elk and it's really gamey, the person did it wrong. They processed it wrong, they aged it too long, temperatures weren't right, or something happened. Because in my experience, well, at least when I've done it, and really been conscious of it, it's always turned out great. So I'd say venison, beef and venison.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I've always been under the impression that venison and elk are the same thing. It's a different animal altogether, huh?
Well, I'm not too, I wouldn't definitely not an expert. People technically say like venison is like a wild game meat, like they just call venison. Like, I don't know if it's like back in the day or what, but they'll say like we're eating venison. And it just means some type of like big wild game or wild game. It could be anything.
Oh, okay.
And actually, Pepper Dojo might know because I know he's a long-term hunter. But people like say venison is like big game meat.
I see.
But people these days call deer venison. I don't know if it's the whole Bambi thing that ruined that or what, but um, when people are speaking venison, so
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. What else we got there, Nick?
Blazing Star Barbecue, are you liking Utah better than Arizona?
Mm.
of course he asks this question as soon as my wife enters the room. Um, it literally as you were asking that, dude. Um, I I love Arizona. Like my heart's in Washington. Like I love Washington. It's so gorgeous, so green. I hunt there. Like I love Washington. But just what I was doing previously, where I was, getting out and being in Arizona, I was obsessed with it. The house, the area, the friendly people, pool in your backyard. Like half the houses have pools, gorgeous palm trees. Dude, when you love grilling, you love going out there and smoking meat, cooking out late. When it's like 80 degrees and it's midnight and you're grilling up some food or doing an overnight brisket, like you could not ask for a better situation. You could take breaks in the pool. Like, I miss it so much. Um, but Salt Lake, as you guys have like, I've talked with you a little bit and stuff. The views, the mountains, it's a different type of gorgeous. Like Arizona's ugly desert, not great, but the temperature, no seasons, it can be nice. But having these views, seasons, it's amazing. So definitely not a coin flip. I love it here. It's great, but I do miss.
Okay.
Sorry
I
for the
get that.
long-winded answer.
No, well, that's
Oh,
perfect.
good. Perfect.
That's perfect.
Uh, Cook in the Yard asked, what's your favorite cooker?
Favorite
Okay.
cooker? Oh, oh boy. Well, I use the Gravity for so long, the char griller Gravity. Um, and that was my favorite cooker because it could control the temps for you. I'm not with char griller anymore, so I can say whatever I want. But I loved it. Could control the temps. I had that like authentic barbecue flavor. But I recently got a couple months ago the Master Built Gravity XT, and I feel like the gravity fed system, the fan, the parts, the design, every like it's not as wide, which kind of sucks because I feel like depending on what you're cooking, you can move it in certain spots because you learn how the air flows through it and smoke it a little extra lower on those controlled temperature ones. If you turn it too low a temperature, you get a lot of dirty smoke too. So you can kind of figure it out when you have a big space. It's a little more accommodating, in my opinion. But this thing is amazing. It's heavy duty. I haven't had any issues with it. There's no parts that I could even see like failing or anything. But the Masterbuilt Gravity XT is amazing. You get the charcoal or wood flavor, authentic barbecue flavor, but the convenience of a pellet grill. So that's it, hands down. Um, but the gravity fed smokers are great all around just because you're getting the convenience of a pellet smoker, but charcoal and wood. So
There you go. Hard to beat, huh?
I think so.
Speaking of pellet grills, you just picked up a Traeger recently, right? Did I see that correctly?
You saw a pellet grill, but I haven't picked up a Traeger,
Okay.
and I started on a Traeger.
Okay.
Like Traeger was everything. And then as soon as I started, I mean, I barbecued and stuff before Traeger, but really like putting the time and attention into it. I started using some other stuff, so I moved away from the Traeger just because of some partnerships. But my brother-in-law, who's like a couple of houses down from me, he's got a Traeger. So he'll
Okay.
host dinners and stuff like that. So whenever he's hosting, I'm cooking tri-tip wings, what have you. It's on the Traeger, and I have nothing but good things to say about those. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I swore I saw something like a story post or something where you were cooking on one.
I
And I was like,
was,
oh,
it
nice. You
was,
must have got a
yeah.
new one.
A month or so ago. I wish I
Yeah.
did. Honestly, I've got a lot of I don't have much real estate out there for smokers and stuff. And I'm in my basement right now and in my office, but like I wish I could take you guys out front because I have like a 500 pound pizza oven that Nick would just fall in love with. This thing's as tall as me. It's
No.
huge. I can't even move it. It's on a pallet. I'm trying to push in my garage, and I can't even hear like the pallet scratching the concrete. I'm just like, "Ugh, ugh," just not moving at all.
They
So
get heavy.
I got to get this thing out of the driveway before HOA calls on me or something because but I got to start getting some pizza dough recipes or something from you, dude, because I've been buying Harmon's pre-bought dough and Pillsbury for the last couple of years, and this high-end pizza oven needs some homemade dough. Need some
Nick is
help.
your
Send
man.
help.
Nick is definitely your man
I
for
got
Send
that.
you,
me
man.
recipes. I won't
Yeah, I
share them.
got you. No, I got you. I got you.
We got anything else in there, Nick?
Yeah, we got Mike Mendoza. We got Mike Mendoza and Uncle Chico. I kind of want to combine these two. Any scary moments hunting was Mike Mendoza's question, but Uncle Chico wants to know: do you believe in Sasquatches? So you might be a run-in with a Sasquatch.
Such a great question.
All right. So the first question, I haven't had. I wouldn't say I've had too many scary situations. There are situations when you're in them, you almost like get used to being out there, and in the moment, it's whatever. But then, honestly, it's sometimes it's not even months later. It's like years after you get back and you're reflecting on that trip or what you did. You're like, that was really stupid. I shouldn't have done that. So I'd say the um, most scary thing is just going places I shouldn't go, on like untouched ground, trying to get somewhere special or cool, but you're in like cobblestone and a really steep ledge with no trail, nothing kicking out to support your feet. you're just on like gravel basically trying to get up this thing, and if you slip and fall, you're toast. So like that's probably the most dangerous or crazy thing that's kind of happened is going into those situations. Um, so I haven't been blessed with anything too crazy, but yeah, this what was the second question that Chico had?
If you believe in
Sasquatch?
Sasquatch,
Do I
yeah.
believe in Sasquatch? Definitely don't believe in Sasquatch. I got a Sasquatch shirt that I got from some little like shop in the middle of nowhere, but no Sasquatch. Definitely don't believe in Sasquatch. No sightings by any means. So no Sasquatch.
There you go. So no, you haven't ran into Dick Cheney out there hunting yet or
No,
anything.
no, no Dick Cheney. I see Pepper Dojo said rattlesnake encounters. I've had bear and rattlesnake encounters, just never hunting. Um, when I was like 14, we woke up. Well, we were in Yosemite, no tents, nothing, just uh, sleeping out on tarps and sleeping bags. We woke up to my one of my best friend's youngest brother being sniffed by a bear
Oh my
at like 6
God.
a.m. at sunrise, and we scared it off. And then a rattlesnake being about 10 miles from anything, coming around like a sharp bend, and then having like this huge 5 foot rattlesnake just chilling there. Um, they keep to themselves usually, but just being out there, being like, if something happened, we're dead. That's kind of freaky. So
For sure, for sure. My little brother's crazy. He sees rattlesnakes, he just goes right after them. He catches them barehanded, kills him right there on the spot. He's nuts. He would crawl underneath the house. We had like a floating deck on some property out there where we used to live at, and he would crawl underneath the deck, pull out a rattlesnake and kill it. He's absolutely insane. He might be part Sasquatch. I'm pretty convinced.
he probably is Sasquatch. Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's
Uh,
nuts.
I actually did a post on next door in Arizona because we were going to a meetup and I wanted to be the cool guy with a rattlesnake, still with the skin and the head
Oh,
and
oh,
in the body. And I did a post being like rattlesnake problems, like let me help you out, like no charge, let me know where you're at, let me know where the rattlesnakes are. And like I put like a little notice like not experienced catching rattlesnakes, but uh that's crazy. Your brother's a madman.
that is awesome. Yeah, he 100% he is, and in more ways than just that one too. He's absolutely insane. Nick, what about let's hit him with Cabezon's question. I think that should be a question for everybody.
I
The
might have missed
order,
it.
the order. No, he didn't write it in here. I think going forward, we need to know about everybody. What's everyone's order at Taco Bell?
Oh, everyone's
Wasn't
order at Taco. Yes,
that
it
asked
was.
last week
Yeah, I
with
think
Yeah, I
that's
think
going to be
from
a
now on we
reoccurring
gotta
one.
we gotta bring that up.
with
So
with
what
Booyah?
is your go-to order at Taco Bell?
I was chiming in on this last week actually. I can't always stick around with the kids and
Yeah.
stuff, but I was tuning in for this part. Um, the beefy 5 layer burrito for sure. Like is probably number one. I'm a sucker for regular bean burritos because when they had soft tacos and bean burritos in that 10 pack growing up for like pennies, that was like the go-to on a Friday night. And a cheesy gordita crunch is a sleeper because I think they may have like discontinued it or something, but they can still make it. But I'd say those are like my three go-tos that I always get no matter what.
I'm right there with you. I just go no sauce. Nick knows I'm not. I'm real specific about the sauces, man. I don't like mayonnaise. I don't like sour cream. So I get those same things. That's my order too.
Yeah.
But just no sauce on
He
them.
puts ketchup on his tacos.
No, you don't. Get out
No,
of
but
here.
since you mentioned that, I will tell you, my wife's family, they make they're it's the most trailer trash tacos you've ever had. That's what I call them. It's just unseasoned ground beef, and then they put ketchup on their tacos. No lie.
No.
I
What?
swear on
Oh
everything,
my
dude. Yeah,
gosh.
you just brought back a painful memory, Nick.
How, okay. There's a question I just saw,
How
and I
many of
think
each kind?
um is she asking me or you guys?
I think she's
Because I
asking
think
you.
she's trying to call me
I
out.
think so.
Um, it
I
depends if
missed
I've
the
been
question. What was the question?
How
How
many
many
of
of
each
each?
item?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh, oh, my wife. Please don't add her. That's weird. Um, it depends if I've been drinking, to be honest, but um, I'd say like at least 5 items, like minimum, is what I get. I'll just set
Throwing it
that as
down.
I don't want to like talk worst case scenario, but like I'd say at least 5. If I make the conscious decision to pull up to the drive-through at Taco Bell at like 11 to 11 p.m. to 2 a.m., minimum 5 burritos or for 5 items.
There you go.
What about you guys?
I'm probably right there too. I'm definitely good for two of the beefy five layers.
Yeah.
It's probably more like four because it's two beefy five layers. I'll get a cheesy gordita crunch. I can only do one cheesy gordita
Yes.
crunch though.
Same.
And then I'll usually throw in, when they used
One
to,
or
if they
two.
had double decker tacos back in the day, I would do two double deckers.
Okay.
I think really the variable is that last item. Depending on what that last item is going to determine how many of them I'm going to get. You know what I mean? If they're regular tacos, I can get three, on top of what else I got. But if it's like a, what is that new one? The Crunch Wrap? It's not
Yeah.
new, but I just had one for the first time in a long time. I'll get one of those, but
Those are pretty
yeah,
good.
that's how it goes for me. What about you, Nick?
I usually get one of the boxes plus a soft taco.
Oh, there
Soft
you
taco
go.
is my favorite thing. I
Like like
love
like
the
the
soft
five
taco
dollar
dip.
box? Like a $5 box or like the
Oh no,
box?
not
The
like a
10.
big box. No, 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 no. Like a $5 box and then plus a soft taco.
Dude, I remember those back in the day. They're like $7 for like 10
Hmm.
tacos you got to pick.
Yeah.
Dude, it used to be
What
so
happened
much
last
more
week is
affordable.
I ended up getting Taco Bell last week. It's gonna happen again.
I know. You know what? I'm gonna end up doing the same thing. I think this is gonna be a habit now.
It'll keep bringing you back though. They just keep. I don't know
They
what it
sure
is.
do. They sure do. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mike. I don't see many comments, but I did just see what you wrote right there. That's what I had. I had the Cheez It one, and it was absolute trash. It tasted like dirty feet smell. You know what I mean? So don't mess with it. Don't mess with
A
that new Cheez It
foot, the
crunch
foot
wrap.
crunch wrap
Yeah, it
at
was.
Taco Bell.
Yeah, yeah, the sweat foot for sure.
uh,
It's that cheese. It's that cheese.
That's
One of
right.
the other questions we had: what was your biggest learning curve when you started barbecuing, or what do you think the biggest learning curve in general?
uh, I feel like it's the biggest learning curve, and I feel like it doesn't stop. Um, is just maintaining a fire. Um, it's a freaking art. If you haven't, unless you have some big, beasty, huge, insulated, like offset or something. If you're rocking like 1,000 square inch, or actually probably like 700 square inch offset with like another shelf or something, but like it's just an average size offset that you could get from like any big name brand smoker company. Those are insulated, it's thin metal, like you're using tiny little short splits. You're feeding that thing every 20, 30 minutes. It's not maintaining heat for you. You're maintaining the fire. So knowing what splits or what pieces to throw in when, depending on how fast it's dropping and the temperature, like that is an art, and I know people with offsets that can feed it once every couple hours, but that's not me. Like using those smaller smokers, those smaller offsets, having to maintain those temperatures, so hard, so hard. Biggest learning curve, and I don't know if you can ever get perfect at it. It's really tough. So that's for sure the biggest challenge.
Yeah, ton of variables there, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
We got anything else, Nick?
we do. So this is kind of like a general comment over and over in the chat, but Danny Cooking in the Yard specifically asks, "When's the next collab with you and Matt Out Back? It's
Dude,
the greatest collab
and
ever."
is he? I don't know if he's in here anymore. He's not, but um. Oh Jesus! I have my tripod on backwards, so it's so we've talked about it. Um, actually, when I went and visited Texas, like a month or two after doing that, we had this like whole plan, and it just didn't happen. But I feel like we need to do one for sure because it's like my favorite video. I feel like there's a couple dozen people who just love it just as much as me too. But I feel like I was actually driving home today from work, and I was thinking about not just not the collab, but just the idea around the collab of like when I'm cooking, when I'm barbecuing, if I'm providing for somebody, whether I'm putting something on the table for someone else or I'm just doing it for me, I I almost feel like you put on a cape or you feel like I'm doing something real special here. I really enjoy doing this. I'm doing something special for somebody else. And when I'm out there barbecuing by myself, doesn't matter if I'm providing for my family or I'm just drinking with my buddies, having a good time. Um, I feel like you kind of take off the cape a little bit or put one on, depending on your personality. And when you're not doing that, you might be completely different. And the whole idea around that reel was just this boring, basic, simple dude having a boring ass time in his backyard, cooking a steak on a flat top, not even reverse searing it, just like dicking around with the thing, not knowing what he's doing, and somebody else having an influence on him to like transform into this like badass confident, like I'm a motherfucker type dude, right? And I feel like that's how it is kind of with barbecue. It doesn't matter your personality, your background, what you're into, what you're like, but you get around the right people, you're doing something you all have an interest in, um, and you're providing for other people or yourself, cooking great food. Like, there's no better feeling than that. And no matter your background or who you are, you have somebody to like connect with or somebody you can like help helps transform you into like that dude or that motherfucker. Like you almost put on a cape where you turn into somebody different. And I love that idea, and it worked. And it's never done as well as I thought or I want it to, right? Because like my heart's invested in it. But I feel like that's so relatable for anybody who's into cooking or into barbecue. And we'll for sure do a collab soon.
Dude, I
We don't
hope
have one planned,
so.
but we'll fucking do it because we're close. I love that fucking guy. I don't know if I'll be able to get out there till next year to do something in person, but maybe before then we'll do something similar. So
I can't wait to see it, man. I think you guys work so fucking perfect together. You know what I mean? It's a great pairing, and that can't just be a one-off. Like, I want that to be a series. I don't know what what everyone else says and what they think, but I think that could be an incredible series just to keep up with it.
he's a great dude. I love him.
For
I was just
sure,
texting him the other day when I posted that. He's like, I fucking love you, dude. I'm just like, I love you too. You're the best.
for
It's just
sure,
like get those relationships with random strangers and it just builds and builds and you just work together and things happen. But
for sure. We always only have on this show. We always just have one guest on, but I would love to have you and him at the same time on there. That would have been a perfect episode
yeah,
too.
it could
So
have
maybe we'll have
been.
to do that for the round two
Yeah, that'd be fun.
for sure.
Yeah.
So outside all the cooking and stuff like that, do you have any like guilty pleasures, things that you're into that maybe you don't like to admit too much? Maybe you're a rollerblader or something like that.
Uh, uh, I drive a minivan.
Do you really? That's cool though. I like minivans, man. I like them. I like
It's not
that
really a
Toyota
guilty
Sienna.
pleasure because it's not a pleasure at all. It's just like, hey, this was for the fam, taking one for the team. Like this thing's great, and I love it.
Yeah,
Like I like just clicking the button, opening those doors, kids jump in. Like it's fantastic. But that's one thing that I feel like not the best, but it's kind of surprising to people. So definitely the minivan, but yeah, guilty pleasures, not really.
no.
I don't have too many guilty pleasures or vices or anything like that. I've really bad impulse control.
Okay.
Um, so whether it's like desserts or I haven't been exercising, taking care of myself, dieting at all, like I'm like, oh, this doesn't matter. I can really go all out. And I think my wife making comments about like, well, how many burritos do you order? Like, no shame here. Like, no shame. Really bad impulse control. I'll go all out sometimes with stuff, not just food. Um, I'm definitely can be a little extra. Kind of brings me back to that like collab video too. Like, I felt like it was a good situation for me just because I feel like sometimes I'm that guy, and other times I'm the opposite, wearing that salty shirt and the pit vipers and the backwards hat and just getting wild. So you never really know what you're gonna get. But impulse control, food for sure, desserts.
There you go. There you go. I'd say with mine, I guess I've asked this question a bit and I haven't really answered it myself. Mine, I guess my guilty pleasures, like I like American Idol. You know what I'm saying? American Idol. I love singing. Not like personally singing, but I love
Hearing people being
hearing, yeah,
serenaded.
great singers, bro. I love it, dude. I don't know what it is. And I know that doesn't sit with everyone, but I got no shame in my game. That's probably my
American Idol's
biggest.
American Idol's great, dude.
Do you like it
I'm
too? Oh, sweet.
I don't I haven't watched it in years,
Yeah,
but I'm a pretty sensitive dude, and I'm not gonna lie, like I don't know if I can get through an American Idol episode without even crying,
yeah,
number one, or getting teary-eyed, right? No shame in that. But just like the stories, they get into
yeah,
the person, they perform, they kill it. You're so attached to them. Like, it's a fantastic show.
for sure. I feel like lately, the last like, and don't get me wrong, I fell off too. There was like a good maybe 4 year gap where I didn't watch any of it, but we've been back watching it for probably the last 3 years or so. They seem to have gone away from the uh, they used to have a lot of shitty singers on at first, like during the auditions, and it was like the shock value of how horrible these guys can
Yeah,
be. They kind of got rid of all that, it seems like, and they do dive really deep into those heart wrenching stories and stuff. So you're right, dude. It's every episode you're getting choked up. It's like, God, another
yeah.
one? Damn,
Another one of
and
these,
it's like they're one upping each other every episode too.
and sometimes they don't hit. You're just like another one of those. I feel like if it ebbs and flows, and you have those up and downs, they're dogging on somebody, making fun of someone, and then it gets real sincere and everything. Like that's what
Yeah.
works. And I feel like a lot of TV. I don't watch much TV these days, but like when I did, I
Hmm.
feel like it was like that where it wasn't so maybe sensitive or conscious of like, hey, is this okay? Should we change this? Should we take this out?
Yeah.
But for sure, a good show.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't watch too much TV anymore either. I'm a movie guy myself. I love going to movies and stuff. You
Favorite
go to
movie of all
movies?
time? I'm asking a question now.
All right.
Favorite movie of all time? Do you have one?
You know what? We brought this up last week and it's like kind of hard pressed to name just one, right? I probably could say like a favorite of
Two.
genre or give you like, yeah, top two.
Can you give me two?
Two movies. I'm gonna tell you I'll say Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves, Al Pacino, and Charlize Theron.
I
You
saw
ever
that
see?
at a young age. That movie fucked me up, dude.
That's
But that's a great movie. Good job. Okay, next one.
a good. That's one, and then let me think another one, maybe outside the box. Hands down, my favorite movie of all time, and probably guilty pleasure is To Kill a Mockingbird. I don't know why. I saw it when I was really, really young, and it kind of I don't know what it was. I think it was timing of everything. Reading the book, seeing the movie, being young, and it really like stuck with me. So To Kill a Mockingbird is probably my number one favorite movie of all time.
I've,
Corny
I've
answer.
I've only seen that like
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
I might watch it tonight. I mean, it's only 8 o'clock. I've got a couple drinks in me. Like, I'm either working, sending emails, or I'm gonna be watching Kill a Mockingbird tonight. I don't know.
There you go. Yeah, Shawshank is what Blazing Star
Oh,
just said, Mike. That's a
oh,
awesome movie.
that was my
Yeah.
number two. I already
Let's
had my
hear it.
numbers, my names prepared.
Let's hear
Yeah. What about you, Nick?
yours.
Um, for sure, uh, easily number one, without a doubt. Forrest Gump,
Yes.
for sure. And I'm not even over exaggerating. I'd say at least 500 times I've seen
Wow.
that movie. I don't watch new movies, dude. If I'm chilling and I'm not watching a podcast or doing something, I'm putting on some like OG classic. I'm putting on Forrest Gump. I'm putting on like Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm putting these random ass movies on that I've seen hundreds of times. But Forrest Gump, 100% favorite movie. Shawshank, I'd say, is number two. But yeah, that's one and two for sure.
There you go.
What about you, Nick?
Yeah, let's hear it, Nick.
Top three, I'm going with Forrest Gump, Dark Knight,
Hey,
Happy Gilmore.
Dark
Ooh,
Knight,
Happy Gilmore.
you bet, and Happy Gilmore. That's a
I,
sleeper.
I
Happy,
said Grandma's Boy the first time we talked about it because I really like Grandma's
that's
Boy,
a good one.
but then I feel like Happy Gilmore. I probably watched that almost as many times as I've seen Forrest Gump.
Oh,
Like I
Dude,
love that movie.
there you go.
so good.
You
That's
just like what you're talking about, going back and throwing on those, kind of go-to movies from way back when. Dude, that was old school for me. I've probably seen old. I can't tell you how many times I've seen old school. Frank the Tank.
yeah,
Yeah, God, so many times. Yeah, good
that's
times,
hilarious.
man. Do you remember
Dude,
the last movie you saw at the theater?
I never go to theater. Like I
Okay.
get like anxiety going to theater because when I think of theater, I'm thinking of my kids. I'm thinking of like $120 and me being miserable. I'm thinking about potty breaks every 15 minutes. Uh, but I honestly don't remember. It was something for them, like Lego movie or something like that. But
Okay.
I haven't personally been in the movie for myself, just going like I gotta go see this in years, like years. And I'm a big movie guy, so
There you go.
So
We
we
got
got
some
another
good movies to keep mentioning. Go ahead,
we
Nick.
got another question in here too. Sunny Zapata asked your favorite wood to grill on.
it it, it just depends on what I'm cooking. Um, but if
Excuse
I
me.
but if I just like, hey, you have one wood for the rest of like wood to cook on, like cook with, right?
Yeah, cook with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so um, 100% oak, just because I've used it so much, and I started working with a oak wood company that does like bourbon barrel slaves and stuff. I think slaves, like the strips of the bourbon barrel. But oak is just great. It's great on everything. Like there's not one protein where someone would say oak's not good for this. I don't think. Um, so oak's fantastic. I would say if I had to pick one, that would be it.
There you go.
Okay.
You guys have a preference?
Uh,
I've got a lot of cherry wood, but I live in cherry country, right? So I
Yeah.
got a local guy that hooks me up with endless cherry wood. So that's what I've got. I've got a half cord on the side of my house.
And I don't know about you guys, but when I cook something with a different wood, or maybe I'm out of something, like I'm I'm never pulling that out and being like, ah, this cherry wood really fucked up this brisket. You know what I mean?
Never.
But like when I pull something out and I'm like, this is unreal. Like I'll say that the wood helped with that becoming that fantastic, but like I've never once been like, wrong fucking wood. Fuck myself on that one. It was the wrong one. I should have gone with this instead of this. So I don't know. I don't know about like the whole. I've heard people talk about like myths with wood and all this other stuff. Like you definitely can get like smoky, bolder flavors with different wood, 100%. But but yeah, yeah. I think oak's a great option. Cherry's great. Apple's great. So,
Yeah.
pecan.
right.
Oh, you said pecan. When I used to smoke like sugars and salt and stuff, I would use pecan. It's like a good clean wood. It's awesome.
Anything else with their two, Nick?
Yeah, we got Pepper Dojo, a two-part question. When are you coming to PA and what's your favorite hot pepper?
Never coming to Pennsylvania, and my favorite hot pepper is I would just say like jalapenos because I use them so much and stuff, but I'm gonna say like a red jalapeno, and I don't even know if they're called red jalapenos or if there's like a technical person in here that knows why they're red or if they just come out that way. But when I'm doing a recipe and I want jalapeno, especially like when I do chimichurri. I was thinking about doing it actually tomorrow night. Either compound butter or chimichurri on a tomahawk. But the colors are kind of what makes it for me. Like when you see someone's chimichurri and you have all these crazy, freaky textures and colors popping, like that's what does it for me. So when I find red jalapenos in the store, I'm like, boom, buying those because I'm going to use them in a shit ton of recipes. So that's my favorite pepper. Jalapenos are great, versatile, and the red ones are a little more rare. You don't see them everywhere. So that'd be my go-to.
There you go.
Okay.
Good answer.
We're all
Well,
caught up on the
that's
questions.
it for right now. All right,
Yes,
Woo!
you guys got more?
sir.
Drop them down there for us. So, what about when you were younger and stuff? What were some of the things you used to do? Were you a BMX guy over skateboarding? Were you skateboarding over BMX? What was your which kids were you? Which one of those kids were you?
I was a skateboarding kid for sure.
Were you?
Uh, I started doing BMX, but I got a bike, trick bike, and I got it for my birthday. It was I remember it was like a Specialized or the brand Specialized had like all the bells and whistles, and I was dicking around doing like I don't even remember because I haven't done them forever, but the like bar spins or whatever they're
Mm-hmm.
called, where you like grab the seat and pop back and grab it again, and it was like my first time even riding one of those bikes. A couple weeks in, I broke my hand,
Oh,
and I
okay.
was 15, and I was pretty good at baseball, and my dad's just like, we're selling this back, or like you're not using this, you're never riding a bike again, blah blah blah. And he was
Oh.
so serious, I actually got rid of it. I couldn't keep it. And but skateboard obsessed. Tony Hawk Pro Skater. If you were into skateboarding and you played Tony Hawk, like that made you into like I could drop in, I could do this, like I could do these special tricks, I could do like, and I feel like with skateboarding at least, and I don't know much about biking because I never got into it really, but it just takes confidence. It takes like the willingness to get hurt. Like you know how to ollie or do something, you're going off stairs or kick flip, you're worried about twisting an ankle, or dropping in. Am I gonna fall on my face? If you got the nuts to be like, I don't fucking care. I'm gonna do this anyways, right? Like you're gonna succeed. You'll figure it out. You'll have some bad, you know, situations happen, but you'll figure it out eventually. And yeah, I think Tony Hawk, pro skater, the skating scene back then, um, like that was pretty awesome because it gave so many kids like the excitement, comfortable or the comfortability that they needed to like jump into something new and maybe break an arm or do something crazy. So,
That
And the
was an awesome
soundtrack was
time.
undefeated.
Yes, it
oh,
was.
what was your favorite Tony Hawk?
I was gonna ask you to go ahead, Nick. You go first.
I, I want to say probably the original one or Tony Hawk 2. I want to say the original though because I played the demo so many times because I
Because
had
it's
like the first
free.
level. Yeah, so I had like the first level and I played that first level over and over
Yeah,
and over.
for sure. Mine's number two. It was I like the I don't remember the name of the map, but it's the downhill one, right? So you start at the top, you go down. It's got the pipes. Um, I don't think they had those types of levels in the first one, if I remember right. That one and the school were like my favorite maps on number two. Tony Hawk number two is definitely my favorite. Who was your favorite
Matt
skater? Who would you?
Outback's in here, dude. He
Yeah, he
said
is.
two as well. That's what I
Yep.
said.
Yep. Who was your
Dude,
favorite skater? Who would you choose?
mm, probably so Bob Burnquist was so cool. Like
Yeah.
he was like big time. But then Buck as far as I remember, like Bucky Lassick, he's like this short little dude and did crazy shit and took all these risks and stuff. And I remember like Bob Burnquist, I don't know if anyone's in here that could correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought he was like at his peak, like he was the guy to beat. And Bucky Lassick did some crazy shit in like the Olympics or X Games or something like that, and like beat him or something. something, but Bucky Lasek, Bob Burnquist, those were the dudes.
Hell
Those
yeah.
I love those guys.
I was a Rune Glifberg guy, the Christ era. I still remember it like
Price,
it was yesterday. You remember that? Dude,
yeah.
it
Who
was so,
doesn't?
so sick. You do like you hit a big jump in the half pipe and just
Yeah, and
spin
just
with the Christ air.
like,
It would look
how
so
many
sick.
times can I
Yeah.
spin?
Yeah, that was my favorite.
uh,
For sure my go-to. How about you, Nick? Did you have a favorite skater?
Mullen or Muska,
Oh, there you go.
one or the other. I had
Mullen,
Flatland on Mullen was awesome, but
he's
Muska's decks were so dope.
Mullen is a fucking wizard, dude.
Hmm
He was like I don't know what it's called, freestyle or whatever. I don't remember, but just like the flat ground stuff, being
hmm
creative, doing crazy shit. Like, oh, he would do crazy stuff all the time. But he
Yeah,
was a dude.
All
But
his
I
old
watched.
videos still hold up, dude. Like if you go
do
back
they?
and if you go back and you watch like an old Rodney Mullen
And you're
flat
just like,
ground video, it's
like
still like
what?
mesmerizing. Yeah,
He
still to this day.
created so many tricks. Like
Yeah, he did.
he's the inventor of so many of those flat ground tricks, and nobody came close to him.
Do you guys watch Bam Margera when you
Yeah,
were younger?
Hmm
I
yeah,
forgot
for
what that
sure.
was called.
Yep.
Viva La Bam and
Viva La
well,
Bam.
he had a show before that too, right?
It
I
was like
think
the
that was his
Jackass for skaters. That show was
hmm
awesome. Love that.
yeah.
So we do have a couple more questions here.
Yeah.
Least favorite food to cook.
Mm.
That's so hard. So I'd say like least favorite food to cook, I would be cooking for other people because I'm not that picky. My kids definitely are. I almost want to say brisket. Brisket's
Oh,
my it's my favorite. By far my favorite to cook. But I don't want to say like least favorite. It's kind of my least favorite too, though, because there's such high expectations because the results can be so different based on the cut, my trim, how I cooked it. Did I do it on the offset? Did I do it on a pellet grill? Did I do it on a gravity fed smoker? Like, there's so many differentiators with a good brisket that when it yields the best results, there's no better feeling. The process is fun, but when it's not good, you've wasted 14 to 20 hours and you're just like, this fucking sucked. He had my brisket a month ago and he said it was the best ever and this one sucks or isn't as good up to my standards. So I'd say that's like my least favorite to my least and best, but it's it's love or hate. It just depends on how it turns out. So I feel like that's an awful answer because it should be something terrible like yeah, like barbecue cod that fucking sucks, dude. You know, it's lean and it's shitty, but like it's brisket because it can be so amazing and set the bar so high, but then it can be so average and crap where you're not proud of it and you're just it's such a waste.
He
I
said,
feel that.
"Boo
Cop
this
out
man."
answer. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. Boo him.
That's awesome.
Uh,
I
What about
I
spare
fuck with
ribs
that
or
answer.
baby backs?
Ooh, good.
Me first or you guys? I just had a long-winded answer. What about you guys?
I'll go spare ribs. I definitely will choose spare ribs over baby backs personally.
Same here. A little bit more meat if you don't cut them
Mm,
down. I
mm.
rarely like when if I'm cooking for like the house. I rarely cut them down.
I never cut them down at home. No.
Yeah,
I just don't like working around the bones.
Hmm.
Um,
it's a rib,
I
man.
I like spare, but or St. Louis, but like if I'm cooking for other people, it's always baby backs because
Yeah.
people want fall off the bone. They don't want inconvenience. Like when you cook something and someone's like, "These are the best ribs I've ever," you're just like, "All right, done." Like dropping the towel, dropping my spatula. Like I'm done for the night. Like that's all I needed. So, but for me, for sure.
There you go. Any foods that you don't like to eat? I know you said you're not that picky, but is there stuff you don't like?
Uh, Tofu.
There you
I
go.
fucking hate the worst. Tofu, that's the worst food probably created. That and artificial crab.
Oh yeah, I don't like that either.
Oh my God. Like California, get the hell out of here with this fake ass crab. Like just throw some fresh ass crab in there and it would be the best thing on the planet. Artificial crab, tofu. Two worst things ever created.
Is
Prove
the
me
tofu a
wrong
texture thing?
in the comments. Um, I feel like if you seasoned it heavily and made it a little like some texture on the outer surface, but the inside is just it's like
Tastes
say
like
cottage.
nothing.
I don't say cottage. There's no flavor for sure, but like
There's not.
whatever you put into it is the flavor, but the texture. But it's just like it's just trash. And my wife loves tofu. She'll get it on like her pad thai, and I'm like the chicken or beef guy. So tofu, it's a cop out. It's phony. It's fake. Trash. Artificial crap.
I want to see you make some tofu or some funnel cake out of tofu.
There you go.
Tofu bombs.
That's right.
Hey, or something. Oh man.
I eat it in miso soup and that's it, man.
Mhm.
Other than that, there's no reason for
My
it.
daughter loves it because of miso soup. She wants me to make it at home, and I'm like, no, we'll just eat it when we have soup.
Yep, yep, yep.
What are you guys? If you're going out. You like Thai food, probably both of you, because you're
Yeah,
not sinners. So you like Thai food. Do you pick curry? Could be any curry. Could be Penang. Could be yellow. Whatever. Curry or pad Thai?
pad thai over
Pad
curry.
thai.
If I
Really?
go curry, I'm gonna get green curry. I like green curry over the red curry. You know.
I like Penang curry a lot, but like a really great curries, I feel like hard to beat. But if you
Hmm.
have like the perfect pad Thai, like that might be the best dish on the planet. There's nothing better. Like I'd compare it to the best steak potatoes, doesn't matter. You have a really good pad Thai. It's really hard to beat.
We're pretty
Right there.
spoiled here in California, man. We get some amazing Thai restaurants out here. I don't know how it is out there in Salt Lake. I can't imagine that it's you guys have as many options as we do, but
We definitely don't. Those
no.
Mormons are pretty boring, dude. Uh,
Yeah.
I had to say
Yeah, I've been to
it at
quite
some
a few
point during
places.
this life. There's one spot, there's one Thai spot that I've had. We've only had probably four or five since we've been here, but one in particular is actually like very, very good, but they over sauce. You ever have good wings where you're like, these wings are incredible, but they're over
Yeah.
sauce? Like, yeah, the over sauce definitely can kill it with anything.
What about your go-to pizza order if you're gonna order some pizza? Where do you get it from? Where's your favorite place? And then what toppings do you go with?
I don't order pizza too much because I try and stay away from gluten,
Hmm.
fortunately. Um, but if I was just gonna be like, hey, I'm going crazy tonight, I'm gonna eat a whole pizza to myself.
It's either no
Um,
pizza or a whole pizza to yourself, huh?
I don't do. I'm not like the, hey, I'm gonna have two or three slices.
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna do it, I'm committing. Like I'm gonna be having problems for a couple days.
We'll
I'm
roll
gonna
it up
be
like a
putting
burrito.
my own self in my own grave. Um, so to be honest, like I don't have like a big chain spot where I'm like, this is the best pizza, this is my place. I don't order it enough to feel that way. But if I was gonna have like a pizza, it would be like a bubbly, thicker crust, flat, not much flop, and as many toppings as possible.
Really? Okay.
Whether it's pizza or I feel like it's only with sushi and pizza. The more toppings you have, the better it is.
Mm.
If you're the person that wants like sushi with four ingredients, you're boring. You're a snoozle. You gotta have like you gotta have the fish, the vegetables, the eggs, the topping, the sauce, the spice, like just everything. The more toppings, the better. That's how I feel about pizza. So like supreme pizzas, those loaded pizzas, those meat lover pizzas with all the veggies too. That's how I want it. But thin, firm crust with a nice, bubbly, airy crust.
There you go. Good answer. Nick, we've got this with you before, right? What was your favorite toppings?
So my favorite toppings is the pepperoni, sausage, jalapeno. Uh, I like it to be a little spicy,
Hmm.
but I like it better when they cook the sausage on the pizza itself, so it gets some of that oil from the sausage and it goes in the pizza.
There you go.
So putting it on raw is always a little bit better. And as far as style, it depends on the time and day. I by my size, you could tell I'm not picky when it comes to pizza. That's like my number one weakness. It's my number one weakness. I have thin crust, thick crust, Detroit style. It doesn't matter. I'll eat it all. And my favorite sushi is actually just rice and fish. So I'm pretty boring.
Like no sauce, no like
Well,
nothing
no,
special.
just nigiri and then
Okay,
like soy sauce with a little bit of
gotcha.
wasabi and stuff like that. That's my
Simple.
go-to.
Yeah,
Hmm I think I just really like wasabi. I'm not even sure I like sushi. I just really like wasabi, I think is what it is.
Hmm.
I get the flavor of the wasabi is what I'm going for.
I
Extra.
love I love sushi. My wife and I, we both love it. We don't know what to eat. Like, yeah, it's been probably like a month or so, but like, we don't know what to eat. Come home, I don't want to cook. She doesn't want to cook. Kids are crazy. They're about to go down. We're having a late dinner, and we're like, shit, we're gonna be sitting at the table. We're gonna be like, actually enjoying our food. What should we do tonight? It's always sushi, and it's two of us, and we're like, after delivery fees and taxes, we're spending like 80, $90, and we're just like sitting there like this is this is ridiculous. We're so pathetic. This is ridiculous. But sushi, it's hard to beat.
Every
So good.
once in a while, you got to
Hmm
ball out, man. You got to ball out once in a while and just go all out at the sushi bar.
It's true. It's
I
hard to
was
beat,
lucky. I
dude.
had a good friend of mine. He's no longer with us, sadly, but he opened up his own sushi restaurant, and it was some of the best sushi I've ever had. And that was cool because it got to the point where all I did was omakase. I would just go there, sit at the sushi bar, whatever they made for me, I would eat it. You know what I mean? I no longer I
What
like
do
kind of
you
moved
want?
the
I don't know. It's just make something.
yeah,
You're
make
like,
me
yeah.
something. I remember one time specifically, they just fed me everything aphrodisiacs, right? And they were telling me that, and I was like, "Dude, this is all fake. This ain't real. Aphrodisiacs ain't real." And then, like a good 40 minutes into being there, I'm just talking dirty and
You're
nasty, and I'm like,
like, what's going
and then it hit me. It was like, "Oh my god,
on?
it's true. It
It's the
works." Yeah,
food.
yeah. It was just a bunch of like uni. You had the uni too before.
Uni what?
It's the sea urchin.
Oh,
It's the sea
uh-uh.
urchin.
I've heard about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Apparently, that's like a very, very strong aphrodisiac. Oh man, be careful with that stuff.
Yeah, whiskey's enough for me. Keep it at that. I don't need it.
There you go. Yeah, and when it comes to the wasabi, I love wasabi so much, man. They never give enough wasabi. I end up putting all of my wasabi in the soy sauce, grabbing my kids' wasabi, putting it in there. It's like a paste when I'm done.
Sneezing and coughing.
I love it, man. I don't know what it is. I absolutely love wasabi.
You like horseradish too,
Yes,
then, huh?
a
Yep.
hundred
Oh,
percent, a
Hmm
hundred percent.
dude,
It's like it's the same,
I have
pretty close.
not to toot my own horn, but like
Mhm.
I looked at a recipe because I didn't know what Cuban mustard was. I was doing a Cuban and I was like, what the fuck is Cuban mustard? I have this mustard, I have that mustard. I don't know how to make my own mustard. I've got powder. Like, what the fuck am I doing? So I looked online and I looked at a recipe and kind of altered it a bit. I made such a good mustard sauce for like a Cuban. I had it myself and I was just like, oh, this is so good. And then I made it last weekend for my brother-in-law. And like I made it, didn't think much of it. I'm like, hopefully he likes it. And he looked at me afterwards and he was like, after he took like the first bite, and he's like, what is this? This is so good. And like I want to like create like the content, just be like, hey, this is a dope must like this mustard's so good, you gotta save this, it's awesome. But I also know like it won't do well. But like I've got this mustard sauce recipe and it's so good and it's got horseradish in
Ooh,
it. You would fucking love it if you love
yeah,
horseradish.
That
add some
sounds
extra.
amazing. Well, shoot it to me. Shoot me the
I
recipe
will.
then. If you don't want to make a reel for it, I'll make it.
Same
And Matt, I saw
here.
that comment down there, the wasabi rub. Ah, that sounds amazing.
Who's
Actually,
doing wasabi rubs?
no, Matt was
Oh,
saying we need a big
he needs
wasabi
one.
rub. Yeah,
Not a
I
bad
like that.
idea.
definitely not
I
a
like
bad
that.
idea at all. It'll have a higher price point though. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be expensive.
Worth it.
Yep,
Absolutely worth it. We got
yep,
a
yep.
couple more questions here. We have one from Danny. What's next for Salty Dalty? What goals do you have?
Ooh,
Cooking World, I'm guessing he's talking about. I don't know, man. I do this stuff. I feel pretty selfish because like I do it for me. Like my wife's not about it. It takes up a lot of time. You guys know. Like you put something together, it's 8 or 9 o'clock, and you're like, shit, I forgot cilantro. And you run to the store to make like you're not gonna get extra views, like but you just have to add it in, like so I what's next for me? It it's the same old shit, man. Coming up with creative, interesting recipes, doing my thing, trying to find creative ways to throw something different in that somebody hasn't seen, and then just sharing with everybody out there who I think is going to appreciate and love it, and hopefully it does well. It's not like having any big partnerships, big companies, big things planned. I'm a busy ass dude. Got a wife, got kids, got an amazing job, and I'm cooking because I love it. And it's summer. It's gonna be nice here in Utah. I'm 2,000 feet above Salt Lake, and we had snow a month ago. Having
crazy.
this gorgeous weather, like what's next for me? Being outside, enjoying cooking, hopefully finding enough time for myself to put together some fun recipes, but sharing it with my family and friends too, and obviously with you guys. But nothing big. I don't have any big companies, big partnerships, big things coming. I've got a big ass pizza oven as tall as me, so that's pretty fucking big, Nick. But I'm gonna need a recipe for some good ass dough because these fucking pizzas are mid for sure.
I got you.
So,
I got you.
Yeah, I'm stoked to
but
see that content too, for sure.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Get that
that's
brother-in-law over and have him help you move that in the back, dude.
if we can lift it, dude, you should see this thing. It's Kutched. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I need to look at their page more and watch their freaking videos. I think it's Kutched, but it's Cucht,
Hmm.
Kutched.
Mm.
But they have pizza ovens, uh, fridges, gas ranges. Like they have all this stuff. And this pizza oven was gorgeous. And they're like, "Hey, do you want the gas grill? Most people pick that. It's a little easier." And I'm like, "No, we're doing this.
No.
We're going all fucking in. I need to find a wood company somewhere because we're doing wood-fired fucking pizza here." But this thing's a beast, and I'm super excited to get started. So that's something fun for the next 6 months to look forward to for me, for you guys, for everybody, and hopefully I don't fuck shit up. And Nick, you better help my ass
Oh,
because I need pizza dough recipe. All right.
the thing is you're gonna fuck it up a lot, and that's how you learn. You make a lot of accidental calzones before you make good
God,
pizzas.
yeah.
I've done that, and it's not even just the dough. It's just the process and the technique and
Mhm.
everything. And a lot of those I have it's an Oni. God, I don't remember. No, Solo Stove. I have a Solo Stove pizza oven, but just like you get a new one, turning stuff, doing things, it's so different.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you're changing from oven to oven, and because I do pizza maybe like once a month, it's gonna be a process. Cross my fingers, dude.
I'll
Better
give
send
you
me
all the
some
tips I got.
tips. I'll be hitting you
Yeah,
up.
I got you. I
Okay.
got you. I'll give you all the tips that I wish I knew at the very beginning that instant help a lot. You know what I mean? Like semolina flour. That's like one of the
Yes.
biggest things. It acts
Yes.
as like a bearing on the peel, right? So
Hmm.
that makes launching a lot. Yep, it makes launching a lot easier.
So you don't have a calzone. I've done that a couple
Exactly.
times. Yeah.
Exactly. And shake it a little bit before you launch it so you know if it's loose or not. So
Yep.
that way you don't find out as you're launching it. You know that it's sticking. I need to toss some flour or something underneath it. So I'll give you all my tips, and
My
we'll
dude,
get there.
I'm
It's fun. It's a
excited.
fun
I'm
process.
excited. I'm excited for the tips. My tips have been like wax paper, and if it burns and is going to poison me and my family, it's okay. Like just throw some wax paper underneath it and just slide it in with like one of those thin plastic cutting boards. They're like flexible. I'm like sliding those in. I got plastics burning. I got wax paper all over the place. But as soon as I slide that out, I got that perfect money shot. That's what counts, right? Um, we'll get better, we'll improve, and I'm excited to get some tips.
Oh yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah,
I
man.
got you.
You should see this
Sweet.
guy in
I'm
action, man. He's like a fine-tuned machine when he's out there. I remember the first time Nick came over and he was cooking a bunch of pizzas. I was like, dude, this guy's cool, but he's just like cool, calm, collected. He's not really talking much because he's in his freaking zone. You know what I mean? He just stays dialed. So don't interrupt him. Don't mess with him. Don't get in his way. Just give him whatever he needs and just watch the maestro work. It's pretty fucking cool because
I was nervous the first time we went over there. I was nervous I was gonna mess up in front of people, like with my pizza, right? Like I'm like, hey, I cannot mess these up. Like I don't want to, like accidents happen, but I could not let that happen in front of a bunch of people.
yeah.
uh,
So now I
what's your
don't
guys'
care as much. It happens.
what what's your guys' like what's your go-to if you're gonna have some friends, family, guests over, and you're like, I gotta impress these people. I'm gonna have some fun cooking, doing something. I need to produce something that I know is great. What's your back
Go ahead,
pocket?
Nick.
I'm gonna say pizzas because that's what gets requested of me. If people come over, they specifically ask me for pizzas. Pizzas and wings. Pizzas and wings is a lot of it, but usually pizzas.
I'm typically doing surf and turf personally, so I'm gonna get some nice steaks. Because a lot of times, right, well, I mean, obviously, all of us, right? We all cook steaks and stuff. It's not too intimidating for us. But like just the general population, right? They're intimidated. They don't know how to cook a steak. They're always overcooking them. They think that the steak at Black Angus is awesome. You know what I mean? So it's like I like to make surf and turf and kind of show out a little bit. And people are always like, God, man, that's the best steak I've ever had. I like hearing that. Uh, Otherwise, it's a tri-tip. We cook a lot of tri-tip here in Cali, so throwing on some tri-tip, some potatoes, a little asparagus, bacon wrapped asparagus, like that's another solid go-to.
I've never done bacon wrapped asparagus. I did a
Ooh,
prosciutto one for like a post recently,
yeah,
and it's so fine and thin. It's almost like I don't want to say like wax paper, but like you bite into it and just disintegrates. It's so
yeah,
thin,
yep.
Like it was really good. First time I've had in my life, but mine's probably like cheesesteaks or brisket.
Oh, there you
I
go. There
mean,
you go.
tacos are always easy, but I feel like the protein's always covered up by all these toppings. You'll have some douchebag come in there with a big burrito shell, and you have this beautiful protein. And he's just throwing rice and beans and sour cream and everything in salsa, and you're just like, that's just it's like Chipotle right there. Come on, like just get a little tortilla, throw some cilantro and some onions, maybe some lime. Like just make it simple. Like give me a little credit. This is some good stuff over here,
So
but
it's not like sushi where you want all the ingredients.
not with
Yeah.
tacos. Who disagrees? Come on. If you're gonna go with the perfect taco, two, three, four ingredients, or just like some absurd burrito with everything on it, you're gonna go with the perfect taco. You
Yeah, for sure.
should.
I agree. I
Protein
don't go
stand
too.
Nice.
out.
I don't go over the top with my toppings when it comes to tacos or burritos. But I will do some salsa, some
Yeah.
guacamole or some avocado. Um, but that's about it. I don't do the sour cream, the crema, not at all.
You got some trash burrito though, like that stuff can make it. Like it can make a great. It can make a shit burrito something pretty good. But when you've got those quality good ingredients, simple stuff, like you're like, here you go, try it out. I've got some good stuff here. Sure.
For sure. Do you like to entertain? Do
Absolutely.
you guys like to have people over and cook for people?
Oh, it would. That was one of the most difficult transitions we saw is in Arizona, the backyard. Like I don't, if you go back like a year in my content, like the backyard, the pool, you have a diving pool. Like that video, actually the video I posted like last week, at the very end of it, I like a marching off kind of and like jump in the pool. Got this beautiful diving pool, palm trees, um, everything's awesome. But then here it's not as ideal.
Yeah,
So the entertaining stuff in Arizona, absolutely. Every weekend, having people over, having a good time, cooking food. Me out there for half a day, wife complaining because I've been absent tending to a brisket. I'm like, this is a brisket, this is important. But definitely not here. Um, we're at 2,000 feet above Salt Lake. It's cold 6 months out of the year, and it's not the best like setup. Like I've got this gorgeous view. You guys have seen it and stuff. It's amazing, but just to have people over in our kitchen outside, it's just not there. So I'm hoping in the next year, if things go good with work, we'll get to a point where we're in a spot where we're back to the Arizona life, having people over, barbecuing. Life is
dude, it's awesome. I love entertaining, having people over. But the house that I was in before we moved out here, same thing. Just couldn't have people over. It wasn't made for it. Backyard was too small, kind of trashy. The kitchen's real tiny. The house was real tiny. Never
tiny.
really. Oh
Have you seen
yeah.
my
No,
kitchen?
I don't.
No,
No, not really
you
all of it.
probably can't
No,
tell
it looks.
because I focus on the angle down on the food. There's some shots. There's actually one where I'm doing the pepper. If anybody's watching or you guys, the I did that viral
Oh yeah.
cheese stick one. I did one with pepperoni. If you go to the pepperoni cheese stick one from like last week and watch that, there's like a shot at the like first 2 or 3 seconds where it's like me, and you'll see the background. It's like a studio apartment kitchen. I've all my college years, I've never had a kitchen this small. It's the worst. And I try and explain it to my wife who doesn't cook, and I'm just like, you don't understand. You have to have a kitchen with space, a spot to put dishes, a spot to cut up stuff, and yeah, it's the worst. But yeah,
Make it work though.
you're saying like hosting, people and everything. It's hit or miss. If you got the spot like you've got in your backyard and stuff, you can get people over and it's a great time. But when you don't have that, it kind of kills it, right? You got to go
Yeah,
somewhere else.
I agree. I understand. We have any other questions that popped up in here, Nick?
We have one question that I saved for probably too long.
Uh-oh.
This one was from Matt, but it was my favorite question of the night.
Oh, I saw.
Uh, do you identify with Harry or Lloyd Moore from Dumb and Dumber?
Uh, if Matt's in here, which he is, make sure he's still in here.
He's
Since
right
we've
there.
we've got this bro thing going on, why don't you pick? Who do I identify as? So here we go. We got Lloyd Christmas and Harry. I don't even know Harry's last name. Lloyd Harry. Put him behind my back. You tell me which one do I identify as more, Matt? You're asking questions you know the answer to, dude. You
I
motherfucker. Come on.
said
He
you
said
gotta be
Lloyd
a.
for sure.
It
Lloyd
has to
for
be
fucking
Lloyd.
sure.
Yeah,
For fucking
you're
sure.
the
Don't
main
ask
character,
questions you
bro.
know
You're
the
not.
answer to. I tell my son that every day.
Yeah, you're not a sidekick, bro. You're definitely main character for sure.
Try to be.
That's awesome.
Uh,
That's a good
that's an
question.
awesome question.
Maybe
That's
we're gonna
fun.
start asking that one too.
Add that
Taco
to the
Bell
Taco
and
Bells.
Yeah, and then let me ask you this one. This one I'd like to know about people. It's let's say you're gonna go take a road trip, right? You're gonna go meet up with your buddy. You're going up to Washington. What are you gonna pick up at the gas station for your road trip snacks?
there's only one answer. Or snacks, it would be caffeine, so an energy drink. It would probably be a bang. I like bangs. That'll make me feel like crap. So I'd do a bang, I would do a Gatorade Zero
Okay.
or Powerade Zero, whatever they've got, and beef jerky.
Beef
Beef
jerky, huh?
jerky.
Are you the stick or are you the slab?
Um, I would be a stick person, like the pepperoni stick, but it would, if I had to choose, it would be the bag with the actual jerky pieces.
Yeah. There you
What's up, Lake
go. Good answer.
City? Dude, Lake City's in here. He's actually a local dude. He's in Salt Lake.
Is he?
Yeah, need to meet up with him
Dude, I
soon.
like going out there. It's a great place to visit. I don't know. I don't know if I could live there though, too, because the seasons get too extreme, you know.
But
And also, they look at me weird out there. You know what I
yeah.
mean? They
You're
see a
like,
guy like me covered in tattoos.
you're definitely not fucking Mormon, this
Yeah, for
guy over
sure.
here.
They do. They look
Yeah,
at
we're
me
not
and they're like,
knocking on his door, that's for sure.
yeah. But I love visiting. It's awesome out there. The views are spectacular, man. You can't beat it. But I'm
I
coming
I
home.
literally I drive out of my place. So I go every day I go into work. I drive down this like ravine basically, like super steep, crazy. Once a week I'll see deer crossing the road and stuff. Views incredible. I go around the backside, it's 10 times better. I have like white top mountains, like the view. I've never experienced something so incredible view wise of like a space or mountains. And I'll take pictures, I'll try and take videos, and never does it justice. And my brother came here about 2 weeks ago, and he was just like, "This is he actually said on a ride down to the Nike outlet, he's like, "This is incredible." And he pulls his phone out, tries taking a picture, and he's like, "This looks like shit." That's not even what it looks like. So I'm like, if you're ever in the area, and I know you were recently, like, I don't want to like host here because the kids in the space and stuff, but just experiencing the views, the sights, everything, it's really hard to beat, and it's like a one-stop shop for fun and
Mhm.
outdoor experiences and stuff. Like Salt Lake, Utah is amazing. Um, no complaints except the cold
Yeah,
in the winter when I'm getting 2, 3 feet overnight and I wake up and I'm like, I got a snow blow before I take the kids to school. This sucks.
that does.
But it's an awesome spot. So
You ever been to Tahoe before? Lake Tahoe?
my brother and sister-in-law, they have a spot in Tahoe. Been there twice.
Hmm.
Amazing. They've got a spot that butts up to like the national park, all the entertaining spaces, the bars, the pizza places, views, outdoor space, casinos, like they have everything. It's an awesome spot. But every time I've been there, it's been with them, so they're kind of showing me the area and stuff. But I've never been just with my family or by myself. But do you go to Tahoe often?
We do. It's
Or
not because it's not too far from here at all. It's maybe a 2.5 hour drive.
okay,
I hope to retire there, but I bring it up because Salt Lake gives me Tahoe vibes, right? Just
yeah,
the look of it. It's
you and your,
you get I kind of get those same feelings when I'm in Tahoe. It's just like, wow, this is beautiful, you know?
yeah,
Yeah, it's a nice like
yeah, for,
refreshing
for
place.
for sure is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't seen views like this here, and even like my spot, just an average spot up on the mountain in a nice neighborhood and stuff, like nothing that crazy or special. And I've got these views like Salt Lake downtown. I've got mountains over here. I've got a green space where every other day I've got deer in my backyard. Like it's so hard to beat. Um, awesome spot, but those winters for sure are tough. So
They are.
it comes with a little extra work. So.
Are you out there for the foreseeable future, or are you on like a work contract where you're there for a few years?
So I'm in sales, and there's a lot of opportunity with our company. We're growing and stuff like that. So, um, and I've got family out here, and my wife, if you haven't noticed from tonight, she kind of wears the pants. So, her sister is literally right up the street. Um, so I think we're here for the foreseeable future. If we were to move, it would probably be at a point where the kids are almost done with school or already done. But I feel like if we went anywhere after here, it would probably be after the kids are done with school and it would be Washington. just because that's where our home's at, and just the outdoors and everything else that we love about it. Uh, but just as far as raising our kids, opportunity to work and stuff, this is the place to be. So I think we're gonna be here for a while.
There you
So
go.
might have to adopt the Traeger hood or something at some point because they're in my backyard, dude. You know,
Yeah, I'm surprised they've never reached out to you, or I don't know, maybe they have,
they haven't.
but
I I I applied. I know some people that are part of it and everything, but like it, I don't know. It might just be because I've never like shown them love or used their stuff recently. But I started on their stuff. I don't have them, so um, I'm not a big advocate for like jumping on some bandwagon, doing what other people are doing. Obviously, kind of beats my own drum. But great company, great people. There's some really great opportunity and stuff there. But just it being here, it'd be kind of cool. I feel like if I'm calling Utah my place to be,
mhm.
and I'm in this barbecue world, and I get into the Traeger world, it'd be great. So
Yeah, it does seem like a
we'll see.
good fit. It seems like a good fit, but there's also nothing wrong with not being attached either to a brand, you know?
Oh, I did that for 2 years, dude, with Char Griller, and loved him. Everything was fine and great, but like having that attachment, not feeling like you can do certain things you want to do, like having that freedom's awesome. In
Yeah,
life, in this world with cooking, like you're already trying to find your own way, right? Like having somebody try and navigate that is never so.
for sure. What kind of advice would you give to anyone out here that's, wants to start cooking? They see people like you out here creating content and stuff like that. What's one of the things that you would give them as a piece of advice to get started?
I would tell them to practice, get reps in. You're not going to be good. You're not going to figure it out. Like there's so few people that jump into this and they're just so talented and good that it's just like, oh my God, you've got to figure it out. You're so talented. Your shots, your whatever, like your recipes, your ideas, they're so good. You have to go through so much failure and waste wasted time to really get to a point where you're like, I know this will do good. I know this won't. I need to change this. I need to do this. Like right now, I have this chimichurri recipe. I did the content, I did everything, but I had like friends and family over. I know that the quality is not up to snuff, so I don't even want to post it, you know? So like you'll get to a point with repetition, practice, and putting in the time, trial and error, failures, and you'll just learn. So put in the time. If you're really into this, you're excited about food, you're excited about content, get into it, learn from other people, reach out to cool people who are willing to help, um, and learn from them, take their advice, and do you. Be unique. Find the thing that makes you special or different and try and blow that up. Um, and hopefully good things happen. People like it, right? So that's what we're all hoping for, and um, it just takes time. It's not going to just come quick. So
There you go. That's a good answer.
yeah,
And how do you balance your time between your career, your family, and your hobbies? What are you doing? Is it a constant struggle, or do you feel like you've got it figured out?
definitely don't. Constant struggle. Um, I'm a
Yeah,
workhorse. Like I, it would be strange for me to be going to bed before midnight. It would be strange for me not to be working after hours on a weekday until midnight. Um, so I'm working, I'm cooking, a hands-on dad. So like I'm so spread thin with stuff, but finding like time to say, hey, like this bucket, this bucket here is a little empty. This needs more effort. This needs more time. I gotta pull more away from this. I can't work with these companies. I can't do these things. Like it's just a constant struggle. It's a continuum. it ebbs and flows. And I would say like the best advice you can really give somebody like dealing with all that is manage your time the best you can. Focus on what's most important. Prioritize those important items and make sure to check yourself regularly. Like, am I putting, these are my goals, these are my plans, this is what I want for my family, this is what we need. Is this in the best interest of that? Will this pan out? Is the risk worth the reward? So if you're constantly asking yourself those questions, whether you're doing content, whether you're a dad, a family guy, just working a normal job, I feel like you're going to be successful. Good things will happen. And honestly, I've been doing this for about 3 years, and it's not until the last like month where I've really been like, fuck, shit's happening. They
Hmm.
like these cool things I'm excited about that just are a skid mark on everyone else's day, and no one cares. Shit's happening. Something's happening. People are liking. Like I was as excited about this as everyone else that's commenting and liking it, right? So um, just check yourself, assess like your situation, and make sure you're giving the respective areas time that deserve your time. So,
Awesome.
and it's a struggle. So,
For
tough.
sure. That's it's such a good answer, not just for people that are into cooking and content creation, but just in general. No matter what you're doing, whatever your hobbies are, whatever you're trying to accomplish, like that would definitely apply for everyone.
You guys golf?
I love to golf, bro. I love golfing. My
I
kids
was gonna.
golf.
You were just talking. I'm like, oh, that sounds like me in golf. I gotta constantly be like, oh, should I really be going out here this often? Is it really that important?
Hmm.
Uh, man, tough.
Yeah,
That's life, right?
it is. It is. I think I like to try to shift away from the things that are selfish and try to do things that are more inclusive of my
Inclusive.
family, you know. Golf is one that I think it works really well because my kids golf. My kids can come too. They have a good time out there. It's getting outside, pulling them off the games, and not that my kids don't spend too much time on games and on the screens and stuff. My kids are super active. They're athletes. They're always in sports. But going out and golfing is just, I don't know, because you golf. I think we talked a little bit briefly about it before. It's such a cool. I don't know. I think there might be questions if it's a sport or if it's not a sport, but it's such a cool sport. You go out there and it's just you against you. You know what I mean? If you're gonna have a bad day, you're gonna have a bad day. You got to power through that, keep the composure, and yeah, I'm real.
Competitive as hell with yourself and with other people, whether it's with someone else or yourself. Like it's so competitive. It's what
Mhm.
makes it so fun. So
Absolutely. How about you, Nick? Do you ever golf?
Nope,
Never
nothing.
have?
Nope,
Yeah.
never really been, never been into it very much.
Gotcha. I grew up. Do you know pro golfers and stuff, Brian?
me,
Me?
Yeah, Brian.
uh,
Brian.
I know a semi-pro golfer.
Hmm.
If you guys are on here, or whatever, his name's Butsy from Arizona. Really cool dude. I was I I was in I was in law enforcement for about 10 years. He likes to shoot guns. He likes to golf. He's real funny. He's friends with all the like off the wall golfers who are kind of edgy and just real funny guys. And then he's kind of like a comedian. He has a lot of content where he's doing comedy stuff. So
Hmm.
really unique dude. But yeah, he's the only guy that I'm really like talk to or friends with or whatever that golfs.
Gotcha. I was raised by my grandparents when I was real little, and my grandpa he was like a he golfed all the time, constantly. He's really good friends with Lee Trevino and Chichi Rodriguez. So those guys were at the house all the time. I was young, like 4, 5, 6 years old. I didn't know. I didn't. To me, they were just his friends.
Hmm.
But growing up and having them around it's really cool as I've gotten older and realized who those guys were that were there at the house.
Yeah.
So it's kind of always stuck with me. I love golf.
It's so fun. I'm actually it's Father's Day weekend, so I'm gonna be golfing plenty, but it's hard to beat so much fun whether you're getting out there with a good buddy or family friends.
Hmm. For
Golf's
sure,
great.
for sure.
Super competitive. Um, uh, my dog needs to go outside real quick. Do you mind if
Yeah,
I
go
let
ahead.
him out and
No,
just come
go
right
take care
back?
of that.
Okay,
Go take care of
sorry
that.
guys. One sec.
I wish you luck.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I can't imagine someone's gonna. If someone says something, I'll change it. I'll take it off.
All right, we're back. Sorry guys.
Yep. Yep.
No, my dog needed to go out. He went to the vet recently, and he was kind of winding up there. But thanks for
All good. What kind of pup do you have?
I got two. I got a what we think to be a Jack Russell Dachshund. He kind of looks like a black lab
Oh,
puppy, but
wow.
kind of like elongated. He's like fluffy, black hair, a little longer than a pup would be. And then we have a pit bull boxer American bulldog mix. He's pretty much a pit. His dad was a full pit, and his mom was a American bulldog boxer mutt. So he's basically a mutt. He looks like a pit. He's tan and white, beautiful, great dog. But his blood runs pit all day. Like his personality is
Is he?
pity.
They're amazing dogs, man.
Oh my God, so loving, so protective. Like they're the best dogs, but they certain things about them, you're just like, can you figure shit out, please? Like you, do you have pits or do you know them well
No,
or?
but I know a lot of people with pits. No, I grew up with a lot of dogs. We had Rottweilers and Dobermans growing up. Now I just have one pup now. His name's Maverick. He's a teacup Pomeranian, bougie ass fucking dog, dude. I should have known better. A good buddy of mine, he got one, and I kind of fell in love with his dog. But it's like the whole situation is bougie. The company, the dog comes from South Korea, so the dog flies over with the nurse from South Korea, and I figured he would just be like a regular ass dog, but he got in here and he don't listen. He does whatever he wants. Like you can't train this dog whatsoever. He just does anything and everything he wants. But I love him so much. He's such a cool little pup
Yeah, they're great dogs
for
for
sure.
sure.
Do we have any final questions in here, Nick? Anything else come in here that we can get to before we wrap up for him?
No, I think we're good. I think Salty dropped all the knowledge on him earlier.
There we go. There we go. Well, man, I do want to tell you I appreciate you a lot for coming on and spending the night with us and stuff. I know obviously you got a lot going on, so it means a lot that you came on and shared your time with us, brother.
I wouldn't miss it, dude. I love watching the lives, all lives. Like, I love being a part of your guys's weekly lives, interviewing, checking out, and getting to know new, fun, creative, cool people in the cooking world. And it's an absolute pleasure to be invited and participate tonight and chit chat with you guys and shoot the shit. So I really appreciate it.
For sure, absolutely,
Appreciate
man.
you.
And I'd love to have you back too. We'll have you back. We'll do a special episode
With
with
Matt.
you and Matt. Yeah, you and Matt together. So we've got Matt. We've already rescheduled Matt, right? Didn't we already, Nick?
Yeah, we got him on the
Yeah,
calendar.
we've already got him
Just
scheduled again.
don't
So
tell him. I'll fucking come in like 30 minutes in with my pit vipers and my crazy ass shirt, and we'll make it happen.
let's
No,
do that.
I wouldn't do
That will be that will be the collab live for sure.
that. Surprise him,
Well,
but
guys, I appreciate
cool.
everyone for coming in and tuning in, getting to know a little bit more about Brian, Salty Dalty's Barbecue. If you don't already, make sure you go over to his page. Don't just follow him, but show him some love. Hit his notifications so you can stay on top of what he does because it's unique. Like it really is. It's not your run of the mill pages. It's not the same stuff you see that everyone else is doing. Everything he produces is something new, something fresh. It tastes fantastic. And if you heard him tonight, you can tell he pours his whole heart into what he does. He's incredibly passionate about it. So check him out, show him some love, and come back next week and tell us what you think about him. But
I'll
thanks for
be
coming.
here. I'll be watching, dude.
Hell
You
yeah,
guys are the best. Fucking thanks for the kind words. You guys are amazing. Love this. I hope you keep rolling them out every week with different cool, fun, different people, and um, you know, I'm here for the ride for myself, and I'm so happy to be a part of this community and just to be around to witness everything you guys are doing. It's truly special, and um, I love seeing it, and it's unique, and it's cool that you see these same people, right, every single week dropping in and supporting you guys and showing all that love, and you showing me love and just saying those kind words, like it means the world because we put our heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
So means a lot, and thanks for having me tonight. Appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely, man. It was
Thank you.
awesome. Thanks again, Nick. Always thank you, Nick, for everything you do. The unsung hero. It's become kind of like a the butt of the joke. Is Nick? He don't say nothing. He just sits there. Nick does an awful lot, man. He does everything to keep this whole thing going. If it wasn't for Nick, none of this would even be happening. And Monica, I see you right there too. Thank you, Monica, for holding it down. I know we ran a little bit late tonight, so thank you, Monica, for taking care of the kids for us. You guys have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you guys next week with another Big Unc and the Nephew. Love y'all.